Sword of Mercury. And today, we're going to be talking about how to train for your body type. So, without further ado, I should try to get a thumbnail in here with the forearm or something. I was trying to take a still image, but they weren't actually turning out as good. But in any case, getting into the video. So I know that, there's the terms, the technical terms, endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph, but I just figured for simplistic sake that we just keep it simple and just say skinny, medium, heavy, in terms of body type. This is typically for people who are starting to go to the gym or want to be able to train specifically for them, like for their own body type or whatever. I still should see if I could get the thumbnail in here or something. But in any case, so again, this is just a rough guide. It's not saying that, if you're somebody who's like a bigger person, you can't do compound movements, or if you're somebody who's like on the smaller side, you can't do isolation movements. I'm just saying this is a basic construct, just for if you're a beginner or you want like a foundation to build your plan on. So the reason why like smaller people start off here and then move to the heavy side, skinny people typically should do compound movements because like their body type is not really receptive so much to growth or I guess being able to put on weight because their metabolism goes really quick. So this is kind of the body type I had, especially when I started going to the gym. So compound movements like bench, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, rows, leg press. I didn't mention, I should have put here also do like dips. If you want to do dips as another compound movement. There's a lot of calisthenic movements, that means body weight movements, that are typically good for people who are kind of in the spectrum. Again, you want to be quick in and out of the gym. You don't want to spend too long because the whole thing is that you get your workout done quick and you do as much like heavy movements as you can as possible in the shortest amount of time, because you don't want to be constantly just burning through like your food stores or what you've eaten for the day or whatever, because again, it's not so much about I guess like being in the gym longer, because when you're in the gym longer, yes, you do get hypertrophy, yes, you target the muscle more, but you also are burning away like your storage of calories, right? So cardio, keep it low. Again, you don't want to be burning calories. It's unnecessary for you because your metabolism is already quick. So the whole point is that you really want to focus on that factor of really doing only the movements that are necessary for you to build muscle. Medium. So, like, this is the people who are in between body types. So compound and isolation movements are good for them. Like, they can really do any exercise and it'll target them like getting in shape. They can pretty much do all of the exercise. Moderate, you can spend a moderate amount of time in the gym. Cardio, also moderate. Kind of self-explanatory here. Of course, it's in between the two, so not too much to say there. It's more about them, you could have a person who's medium build, but they're not in shape. The factor is that if you have a combination of this, and you apply it here, it's really just a mix of any of these two, right? So, people here, a lot of compound movements, people here, a lot of isolation. So a mix is basically what you can do here. And again, this is not a strict concept. It's not saying small people can only do compound and heavy people can only do, or big people can only do isolation. It's just a rough concept. So moderate cardio. Again, your metabolism metabolism is kind of regulating in a way where it doesn't go too quick, it doesn't burn through all the stuff, and it doesn't go too slow, it doesn't take time to process stuff and then keep it in the body, right? For heavy people, isolation movements, key part of isolation, or why isolation is trumpeted for bigger people, is that you want to actually do more exercises if possible, because if you are like somebody who's heavy and either trying to slim down or build muscle, you need that more time to get that hypertrophy and really like burn those calories, right? Especially if you're trying to trim down. It's almost like how they say bigger people need to eat more. Somewhat of the same concept. I wouldn't say it's directly transferable. Again, if you're somebody who's big and you do compound movements and that works for you, then there you go, right? Again, this is just a rough outline here. So, isolation movements are things like curls, tricep extensions, rear delt flies, leg extension. So leg extension again is one that's kind of a targeted range. Same thing with curls. The rest of those exercises, they're targeted to really one muscle group, that being like shoulders or rhomboids or what else? Biceps, right? So typically lighter people want to stay away from isolation exercises because it might make that specific muscle bigger, but in terms of building your muscle overall or helping you gain weight, it's not going to do that very efficiently. It's going to target that one muscle group. So, but when you're in this range, the heavier range, and you want to actually like burn those calories, then having those other exercises, the isolation exercises in your workout, become good for things like toning up or cutting, right? So that's the premise of that. Spin around here. So you can see, I don't know if you can see there, cardio's high. So same thing, it says long there, so like I wouldn't say necessarily that, again, rough guideline, I wouldn't say that being in the gym longer will add up to better results, but typically you're going to burn more calories the longer you're exercising, because your body is reaching a state of not only hypertrophy, but it's reaching a state of fatigue where you're burning that fuel in the body, right? So again, here your body's already burning fuel quick, so you want to keep cardio and stuff low and be in and out of the gym. Heavy side, your body is burning fuel slow, so you might want to take a bit longer and do more cardio. Again, it's subjective, everybody is different. Rough guideline again, medium, you can kind of shift between these and have a mix, right? So this is kind of the premise of how to train for your body type. There is other things that you can be aware of, such as I guess the factors of doing movements which are actually like in movement, like they have not isolation, isometric, and then like eccentric, all the other exercises, which basically are like one being in a still position, one being in a like movement position, where it's like basically like a negative or a positive, right? So if you don't know what a negative or positive is, a negative is essentially when you're doing like your last rep. Traditionally, sometimes people do it on every rep, and that's like for a little tip here for people who are in the lighter end of the spectrum. If you're somebody who does arms and has a day for arms, and you do negatives or like very like drop sets as well, that's something that will actually trigger that hypertrophy to actually build you muscle and build that definition. Arms are something of a specific day, so, but in any case, negatives are when you go down slow on the rep, and that helps get the muscle contraction all across the board. So, like some people throw the weight around and they're going more for strength, right? Or they're going for the concept just wanting to like PR or max out, right? But in terms of actually getting that contraction, building muscle, getting definition, triggering that like hypertrophy to the maximum it can go, the negatives and positives are good for that. Positive, as you can probably, it's pretty self-explanatory, is the opposite of a negative. So instead of going down slow, you go up slow and then down fast. So that's the essence of a negative and a positive. So again, this is not a strict guideline. See what works for you, see what works for your body type, and remember that you have to find what works for you, you have to find what works for you, you have to find what works for you. And the thing is that not only is everybody different, but sometimes you will be somebody who's on the slimmer end of the spectrum, and isolation movements work for you. Like I just said with arms, right? Like if you're somebody who's like on the skinnier end of the spectrum and you do have a specific day for arms, I don't traditionally have a specific day for arms anymore. When I was like back in high school, like I used to do like drop sets. So like especially like if you're doing it like on a machine with the cables or whatever, and you have the bar, you're doing curls or tricep extensions, which like I said is a isolation movement. So again, it's not strict, but you'd have it at a plate, start at the highest weight, and then basically what you do is you have it at the highest weight, you do as many reps as you can to get the full set, and then right away you drop the plate, do another set, right away you drop a plate, do another set. So drop sets are like consecutively one after the other where you're lowering the weight. So and you're like, sometimes you're supersetting them, right, with another exercise as well. So in essence, that's that. Or you can do like, again, for another thing is that you can drop the plate and then superset that with another exercise, and then if you're working out with a partner, they go, and then you switch back and you guys constantly switch, but you're not having any rest time. The only rest time you get is when your partner's doing the exercise. But remember, like, you're doing your curls, and then maybe it's superset with like tricep extensions. So you do your curls on the heaviest plate, tricep extension heaviest plate, then give it to your partner, they do the same thing, and then you drop it a plate, you do the same thing, they do the same thing, drop it a plate, you do the same thing, they do the same thing, and that you're really getting the hypertrophy that's specifically relevant if you want like toned arms or whatever. Meat is not as big as factor, that aesthetic property as it maybe was in the past when I had time to give arms a specific day. But now I'm not really concerned with that as much. But in essence, that's a little tip if you want to apply stuff. So stuff like supersetting, drop sets, negatives, those are all factors that you can incorporate as you see fit. Again, rough guideline. Again, I can't mention that enough. So in essence, that is what I have for you today on the Sword of Mercury. I'm trying to make these videos maybe a bit more short, concise, to the point, where you guys can actually just like absorb the information on a specific topic. Move on to the next video if you want to watch like multiple ones. In essence, that's the video concept today, how to train for your body type. Let me know if you guys like seeing videos like this on fitness. I am attempting to make more things in the fitness niche because I am a personal trainer, so I am working actually on developing my own course right now, which you can watch and purchase when I have it up. I'll let you guys know, obviously, but it's going to be perhaps even an ASMR format, but basically based for anybody who's either starting at the gym to professionals who want to actually reach their peak potential. And again, I wouldn't say there's any peak which you can actually get to. Again, it's a journey, and there's always a new level to reach. So that's the important thing. Remember that there's always a new level to reach on these journeys. So whether you hit a plateau or not, change up your routine. Maybe you supplement, doing weightlifting for calisthenics, right? Periodically, I will swap out maybe one of my chest days for a chest day in the backyard, like a chest day in the gym doing bench, or like those compound movements which I mentioned, for like, out in the backyard on a piece of wood, doing like 300 push-ups on a piece of wood, right? So, and like sets of 50 at a time. And the concept of that is like you're training, again, hypertrophy. So how many reps can I do with my body weight? How much can I max out at? But also be able to like keep doing an amount of sets, right? In essence, though, that is the concept today. So, let me know if you guys enjoy this video. Like and comment below. Share this video with anybody who's into fitness, or who you think might be interested in a video like this. Maybe they're just starting at the gym. Maybe they're actually like, as I said, seeking to reach a new level. Remember, you guys can do it. I believe in you. And that potential to be your best version of the self is already within you. Again, follow me on Instagram, top_sorcerer. I post stuff on fitness all the time. I post little clips of me in the gym or doing hard exercises, one-hand push-ups, muscle-ups, handstand push-ups, etc. Like I said, clips with me in the backyard, doing push-ups on a piece of wood with 50 push-ups at a time, right? So, if you're into fitness, if you want to see fitness content that is 100% authentic, unedited, based on like somebody who's like attempting to perform unedited, unfiltered, very facade or shallow based content, then I encourage you to check out this stuff. All my stuff is natural. I don't edit any of my videos. I don't tune them to look a specific way. I don't add filters. I don't do X, Y, Z. I don't have it scripted, any of that stuff. So if you want pure content, check out my channels. I will link also my podcast Moonstruck, where I talk on a podcast about concepts like this around fitness, around personal development, around self-expression, martial arts stuff, spirituality, history, etc., and just how to be a more capable individual overall. Check that out if you're interested. I'm also interested in like anime and stuff like that, so periodically I will make references to that kind of stuff. Goku, Vegeta, Jinga, Ryuga, Inuyasha, Shomaru, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of lessons we can derive from like anime, I find, especially related to training. So I'm really aiming to bring out a new age of how we look at training, so in essence, if you're on board with that mission, like and subscribe, comment below, interact with me on social media. Just get in here. I'm even open to networking with other creators or people who are interested in the same thing. So, reach out in the comments. Subscribe if you're new. And this has been the Sword of Mercury, brought to you by the Prince of Mercury. And I will see you in the next video. Snuggly dreams.